It's hard to believe it's been 10 years since the very sudden and tragic death of John F. Kennedy Jr. Hello, everyone. Mark Istook here with TV Guide's salute to an American icon. After spending the first 3 years of his life in the very public White House, in 1964, John and his mother Jackie and sister Caroline moved to the relative privacy of the Big Apple. They ended up in a luxurious 15-room apartment in this building behind me at 1040 Fifth Avenue, one of the most prestigious addresses in New York City. The notoriously camera-shy Jackie wanted to provide her two kids with the most normal life possible, and she did a good job in doing so. Shortly upon arriving in New York, Jackie enrolled John in private school, where the former president's son was sometimes subjected to cruel, childish behavior by his peers.
When he was just 6 years old, on the third anniversary of his father's death, John was leaving St. David's private school in New York, and the other kids taunted him. They said, "Your father's dead, your father's dead."
Brother-in-law Robert Kennedy served as a father figure to John, but when John was only 7, he lost that support because of yet another tragedy.
When Bobby was assassinated in 1968, it was another devastating blow. And, Jackie said that they're killing Kennedys and my children are the #1 target.
Possibly to provide distance between her children and the Kennedys, Jackie married Greek billionaire Aristotle Onassis, 23 years her senior.
At the time, the richest man in the world. He had a private security force of 75 men. He basically lived on a private island, Scorpios.
Aristotle Onassis was an extremely good, concerned stepfather to both John and Caroline. He took John to baseball games, and he took him deep-sea fishing and the Greek islands.
However, after a few years, Jackie's marriage to Onassis was crumbling. By the time the tycoon died in 1975, the two were separated. Meanwhile, John had grown into a troubled teenager. He struggled academically and smoked marijuana. Worried that her son would turn out like his wild Kennedy cousins, Jackie sent John off to work with John Perry Barlow on a cattle ranch in Wyoming to teach her son proper work ethic.
He'd been rebellious. I mean, that was part of the reason that he was out of the house, was that he was doing things that were, well, I mean, like pouring glue down the mail chute at 1040 Fifth Avenue.
The experience resulted in a lifelong friendship between John and the cattle rancher.
So we understood each other implicitly, despite, radically different backgrounds. I got him and he got me.
While he gained important life experiences, John's academic record was less than stellar. Diagnosed with dyslexia, he was held back his junior year. After graduating from high school, John broke away from the Kennedy tradition of attending Harvard. Instead, he chose Brown University in Rhode Island, where he joined the drama department, much to Jackie's dismay.
I think his love for acting was both rebellious on the one hand against his mother. It was his way of saying, I'm an individual, I'll do what I want.
But John was comfortable in his own body. He had a good voice. He had fun. He committed to the lines, and that's what you look for in audition.
Growing up, John maintained a relatively low profile, but at age 18, he was thrust into the spotlight when he made his first public address at the dedication of the JFK Library, alongside his mother, Caroline, Uncle Edward, and President Jimmy Carter.
I think continually of those who from the womb remembered the soul's history through corridors of light.
By now, the son of Camelot had grown up into a tall, handsome young man. Needless to say, women vied for his attention. Regardless, John stuck to one girlfriend at a time and kept a low profile on campus.
I think it was, a normal college student's life, pretty much. People had genuine friendships with him. He was a good guy.
In 1983, 22-year-old John Kennedy Jr. graduated from Brown with a degree in history. With that behind him, John would set off into the real world to find his own legacy. Still to come, some steamy stories about John F. Kennedy Jr., ladies' man.
He tried very hard to let them off easily when he'd finished with them.
And we'll take you inside the fairy tale wedding of John and Carolyn.